I'm locked in with your manager.
All right.
My son f***ed up a lot of shit for me. Come on, guys. Somebody got hurt. You know what I'm saying? Have respect for people that got hurt.
Rampage Jackson's son, 25 years old, professional MMA fighter. Seems to get called a lot. I'll tell you right now, he's great at MMA fighting, terrible at professional wrestling.
Yes.
One of the worst professional wrestlers I've ever seen. Just, I'd say, went a little too hard.
He sells it.
What's your name? I'm a husband. For real? You know him? You know Roger? How you know Roger? So, that nigga just started streaming. He just started streaming. That's crazy. My son. That nigga was streaming. He was streaming for like 3 days. Not no more. He done.
I saw what happened, but it's like.
Nah, he done.
There's always a comeback.
Nah, that ain't coming back. Nah, he ain't coming back. No, he ain't coming back. It's streaming ain't for everybody.
No, kick is the least strict one. But you can't do nudity and you can't like beat them.
Last week, Jackson came dangerously close to ending a wrestler's career in the ring, but surprisingly, no arrest has been made. Instead, all eyes have turned toward his father, Rampage Jackson, who now faces a wave of backlash. And during his live streams, you can clearly see the frustration boiling over whenever fans dare to mention the shocking Psycho Stu incident.
I'm Rampage's biggest fan.
What's up with the Raja situation?
Who is Rampage? He's like a
Come on, bro.
This boy
Come on.
getting clout by dudes tonight and girls.
Hey, respectfully.
You're right, 100%.
No handshake on that.
All right, respect.
I'm a dad. Respectfully.
I know, that's what.
Respectfully.
100%.
I'm dealing with this shit.
Rampage
I'm dealing with this shit.
Is a dumb board.
100%, man. Respect, man, bro. That's why I said I apologize for even coming up.
You can't make me wrong.
I apologize for even coming up to you that way.
I'm getting a lot of racist threats. Coming up to me, come on. I'm getting a lot of racist threats. Motherfucker talking about killing me and my whole family, nigga. Over something my son did, I ain't got nothing to do with. I'm telling you, drop this shit.
He a fighter.
Hey, bro, drop it, bro, drop it.
Hey.
Put my number in your
No, No. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you.
Hey, we do some comedy.
No.
What type of interviews you running?
My apologies.
I'm sorry about that.
Hey, my
Move on. Too fast, man.
Meanwhile, KSI, the famous influencer and pro boxer, finally addressed the Raja Jackson controversy, admitting that at first he wasn't sure what to think. When he saw the clip, it almost looked staged, since wrestling is known for wild stunts and weapon spots. But as soon as he noticed Raja throwing repeated punches at an already unconscious opponent, he realized it was no act. KSI added that he'd heard someone had hit Raja with a can earlier and an apology followed, yet he made it clear that none of that excused Raja completely losing control, calling the incident an absolutely terrible look for him.
What's on the Rampage Jackson situation with Raja Jackson and the wrestler?
The Raja thing. Yeah, that mad. I couldn't tell if it was real when I first saw it, because you know how sometimes in wrestling they like to do some stuff hardcore, like whether it's barbed wire or getting hit with things. But yeah, I saw it. He was just getting punched repeatedly while the guy was unconscious. So I was like, is this a bit? And I think I saw clips of beforehand where the guy or one of the guys was saying, oh, you gotta get your receipt on this guy because he hit him with a can, or he hit Raja with a can. But then I saw that they apologized, so I was like, I'm very confused. And then come to find out that he just lost control. So yeah, not a good look. Not a good.
Sonnen also weighed in on the controversy, pointing out that the legal outcome depends entirely on whether Sikosu frames the situation as genuine or just part of the act. While Stu appeared completely knocked out, the real question is if he'll admit it was authentic or stick to the narrative and insist it was scripted. And Sonnen emphasized how this leaves Stu in a tough position, because if he goes with the staged version, it could shatter his credibility and even cut short his career in professional wrestling.
Get into the eye or mind of the DA or a potential juror. You're going to have no ability to do that if you don't understand emotion versus action, right? The action is supposed to look like he's punching him. The action is supposed to look like he turns him in a 180 and slams him down on the back of his head. So then, where you cross that already blurred line, right, which professional wrestling is already the blurred line, where you cross that is where Jackson actually gets angry. The rest of it, from a physicality and an appearance standpoint, is what you're supposed to do. And sometimes some shots get through. One of the most famous ones that you guys would have seen was Braun Strowman. Brock Lesnar trusted Braun. Braun did a move that was too hard. Brock responded with a real-life.
Kyle Soonen shocked fans when he insisted that Raja Jackson's controversial attack was actually part of a wrestling storyline, explaining that Raja entered on cue and executed a double-leg takedown exactly as planned. He even claimed Psycho Stu played along, allowing Raja to set him up in the center of the ring. But according to Soonen, the move went wrong when Stu landed hard on the back of his head, leaving him briefly unconscious and making the whole spot look far more brutal than intended.
Raja get in the ring as part of a wrestling angle that was scripted and planned. You see Raja come in with his wits about him, waits for the right moment, picks up a double leg, just as it was planned. And he's doing this with Psycho Stu, and Psycho Stu is letting it play perfectly. Raja then turns him around so that when he brings him down, it's right in the center of the ring, which appears to be very clearly what they agreed and had planned to do. Now, the landing is not great. When Raja brings Psycho Stu down, it's not great, and Stu lands in a way and he hits the back of his head, and he looks as though he perhaps lost a level of consciousness right then.
Chael Sonnen also broke down Raja Jackson's punches, noting that while they looked far more solid than typical staged shots, they didn't come off as overly aggressive at first. He explained how Raja seemed to follow a planned sequence before suddenly throwing a strike that looked straight out of an MMA fight. And from there, everything unraveled as emotions took control and Raja shifted from performance to genuine anger, unleashing real punches that turned the whole situation chaotic.
While they were very stiff shots, not what we would call a working shot, it did not appear that Raja had lost his temper. It did not appear that these were being done out of anger, as much as, all right, I'm going to pick you up, I'm going to spin you in a 180, I'm going to bring you down in the middle of the cage, then just like a cage fight, I'm going to land a punch to either side, whatever's supposed to happen after that. There was a couple of guys there, a referee, another wrestler, perhaps the boys step in, we'll never know. Because at this point, it appears that Raja marked out for his own gimmick and really begins laying some shots in, but those shots are done out of anger.
John McCarthy also shared his perspective, arguing that the real sympathy in this situation belongs not to Raja, but to Rampage Jackson, describing Quinton as a father stuck in the middle, someone who loves his son, yet is helplessly forced to watch him make reckless decisions. McCarthy called it heartbreaking to see any parent face something so heavy, especially when it's the very last path they would ever want their child to take.
The problem is this. You're looking at it and people are, they're trying to give some type of, forgiveness because it's Quinton, not because it's Raja, because it's Quinton. It's Quinton Jackson that is the person that you've got to feel sorry for, okay, in the fact that, he's hooked up in this when he's not the one that took part in this. And that's a sad thing because he's a father and he loves his son. And it's sad to see someone go through something of this magnitude when it's the last thing in the world you would have told your son to go through with.
Josh Thompson recalled that Raja Jackson eventually turned up at the Audi wrestling event, where, according to reports he'd heard, the promoter actually gave Raja the green light to get involved, telling him he could lift the opponent, slam him, and throw one shot before others would step in to stop it. But when Raja carried out the plan. No one interfered, and Thompson argued that if this version of events was accurate, the responsibility fell on the promoter for not making sure the wrestlers were properly prepared to intervene.
Raja shows up at the wrestling match later. The promoter apparently tells him that, hey, you can go ahead and go up in there, pick him up, slam him, go ahead and lay a shot on him, and then someone's going to jump in and break it up. Well, that's what the reports are, and I haven't heard the video or the audio of that. I've heard everything else, people talking about it, but I heard it was okayed by the promoter that he was allowed to go in there, slam him, jump on him, and then hit him. And then when he did that, people would come in and break it up. Well, no one came in to break it up. No. So there's for me, there is that, the fact that like the promoter should have had all these wrestlers better prepared.
Josh Thompson also broke down AJ, Mana's involvement before the attack, noting how Mana stood in the background, fueling Raja Jackson's emotions, repeatedly urging him to get his receipt for what had happened earlier in the ring. McCarthy later clarified that in pro wrestling, a receipt usually means giving back a single strike after taking a cheap shot. But in this case, the constant hype only escalated matters, driving Raja to go much further than intended.
This all happens. There's the other wrestler. What's the other wrestler? AJ Mana. This guy is basically in the back telling him, hey, he smashed the can over your head. Go out there and get your receipts. Go out there and, get him back. And then, so he's kind of getting Raja hyped up, kind of getting him to realize, yeah, you know what that means, right? Go out there and get it. You get yours. Now, I know that when we talk about, get your receipts, go out there and get yours, like isn't get it back. Get the shot back that he laid down.
One shot. That's what a receipt is. You got a cheap shot, I'll give you one back. That's what a receipt is.
Doug Malawaz also argued that AJ Mana had a huge hand in provoking Raja Jackson's outburst, suggesting it was fueled not only by Raja's strained issues with his father, but also by AJ's constant influence. While Malawaz condemned Raja's behavior, he placed even heavier blame on AJ, accusing him of using Raja as a weapon to settle his own grudges, pointing out that it was no coincidence since AJ himself often shied away from direct confrontations, frequently losing small backyard scraps while pushing the son of a legendary fighter to carry out the damage on his behalf.
I think the culmination between his dad picking on him and all his daddy issues came out, and all the shit that AJ gassed up into his head, because let me put it this way, I don't like Raja. I think Raja's a person for what he did, but I think AJ's a bigger person for gassing him up to be in that ring, to leading him to ruin his own life, to hurt somebody that AJ also has a problem with. You can't tell me that's not, I don't believe in coincidence.
He was basically trying to put the blood on someone else's hands.
Exactly, because he's not going to do it himself. The few little backyard fights he got in where he got beat up, and then you got somebody that's a real fighter, trained by somebody that was one of the greatest of all time, and then you had him do your dirty work. He ruined two people's lives.
However, AJ Mana defended himself against the backlash surrounding Raja Jackson's outburst, claiming that his comments were being taken out of context. He explained that all he told Raja was to deliver a simple receipt and nothing more, stressing that he never pushed for anything beyond that, and argued that he couldn't be held responsible for the choices of another grown man, adding that the false accusations had started to damage his own life and reputation.
Before y'all judge me any further, just please let me explain. Ready? That's a receipt. That's all the I told Raja to do. Now my life is ruined over your lie. I am not responsible for what another grown-ass man decides to do.
Meanwhile, welterweight fighter Matt Brown shared his thoughts on the controversy, making it clear that while he deeply respects Rampage Jackson, Raja still needed to face consequences for what happened. He emphasized that the real focus should be on the victim's recovery, pointing out that the man was a veteran who could already be struggling with PTSD, and urged people to send positive energy and hope for the best, but reminded everyone that justice also had to be served and Raja could not simply walk away without accountability.
Hopefully the guy's all right, man. That's about all you can say at the end of the day, right? Hopefully the guy just heals up and, with some PTSD or being a veteran and everything, man, just hope that the guy turns out okay, man. Send him some positive energy and hope for the best. That's about the most you can say about it. Other than that, getting love and Rampage, but hopefully justice is done and his son gets what he deserves.
Sean Strickland argued that sending Raja Jackson to jail would only make things worse, suggesting instead that the best solution was placing him in a rehabilitation center to focus on his mental health. But Matt Brown strongly disagreed, pushing back on the idea of leniency and insisting Raja deserved punishment. Brown explained that if this had been a fair fight, it might be different. Yet in this case, the victim was already unconscious and defenseless. And while Rampage might naturally plead for mercy as a father, everyone else had no reason to excuse or sympathize with such actions.
I don't agree with Sean on that at all. The dude doesn't, it'd be one thing, if they got in a fight and he up and, hurt him bad, right? But the dude was defenseless and then knocked out. And the only guy that should not be saying is Rampage, right? Because it's his son. And he's the one that should be saying, can we just give him some help or something, try to stick up for him. But everybody else, we have no reason to have any sympathy for that kind of behavior.
On the other hand, MMA Guru went off on Raja Jackson, blasting him as a savage for slamming Seiko Stu on his head and then throwing punches while Stu was already out cold. He also criticized everyone who stood around without stopping it, saying Raja looked more like he was trying to end a life than perform a move, before giving credit to the pink-haired fan who finally stepped in, and closing by calling Raja a mindless brute who didn't belong in society and deserved to be locked away.
Thoughts on Raja doing a classic 13%? I'm sick of seeing it, raining down shots and unanswered. Dead people, he's unconscious on the ground, you just slammed him on his head. And now you're throwing 12 unanswered punches over and over again until you're trying to kill him. And the ref and all those bitches in the ring that didn't stomp it out when he was doing that. Bro, Raja should have got out cold in that ring. No one was doing anything about it but that pink hair guy. Shout out to the pink hair guy for jumping in the ring and trying to stop him. Brother, dumb animal, put him in a cage. Straight up. Not a human. Not allowed in society. Control yourself. Dumb. Bring that sparring partner back. Tornado kick him again. Dumb man.
Rampage Jackson fired back at MMA Guru during his first live stream since the controversy, accusing him of crossing the line with racist remarks. Rampage argued that Guru should be behaving like a journalist, but instead exposed his true colors, stressing that in 2025, no one wants to see race dragged into a situation involving his son, and while he admitted mistakes had been made, he insisted they should never be twisted into a racial issue.
It's a lot of ignorant people on the internet. I understand that. It is what it is. Shit don't affect me, don't bother me, but people like MMA Guru, that guy is supposed to be some kind of journalist, and his racism came out. His racism showing. You know what I'm saying? It's 2025, right? You know what I'm saying? People do shit in this world. Some people do shit. It shouldn't get turned into race. Nobody wants to hear a bunch of racist shit about their son, no matter what race they are. He must don't have kids himself.
Rampage Jackson doubled down on his criticism of MMA Guru, saying he clearly crossed the line by letting racist language slip into his commentary. Having grown up around that kind of talk, Rampage said he recognized it instantly, and while he usually brushes off racist remarks online, he explained that it's different when someone with a platform uses that language, stressing that anyone with an audience has a responsibility to stay professional and unbiased.
What did he say? I don't want to repeat what he said, but he said a whole bunch of. He said he showed his racism, basically what he did. I'm from the South. The stuff he said, only racist people say. A lot of racist people came forward and said stuff and DM me racist shit. It don't bother me because I don't care about racist people. But MMA Guru, he has a platform.
Yeah.
And he should stay neutral because he's giving his opinions on fights and stuff like that. So now people will be watching him when black fighters fight, he say.
MMA Guru clapped back at Rampage Jackson's criticism, questioning why Rampage chose to go live just days after Raja's incident. He pointed out that while Raja could be facing serious legal consequences, his father was busy streaming, reading chats, and calling people out, which Guru argued only highlighted the striking contrast between the gravity of Raja's situation and the casual way Rampage decided to handle it in public.
Just a few days after Raja Jackson had this situation, that's probably the most stressful time in his life, deserved, by the way, the deserved most stressful time of his life, where he's probably sitting at home right now, scared to death that he's going to get decades in prison. During that moment, right now, his father, Rampage Jackson, is dating whores on stream and bowling with them while reading dono messages about the entire situation and giving his thoughts on it and calling people.
MMA Guru explained that by the time he first came across the clip, it was already going viral, and once he shared it on social media, the footage exploded with millions of views. Reacting bluntly, he slammed Raja Jackson as a reckless animal with no self-control for attacking someone who was already unconscious, stressing that this behavior went far beyond normal conduct and insisting Raja should face serious consequences for it.
I woke up that morning, I got sent a video of Raja Jackson attempting to murder someone, telling me, what do I think about this? Okay? So I go on Twitter, I'm like, what? It's viral everywhere. Raja Jackson did this. It's not yet. I think it had like 700,000 views. When I first retweeted this. This now has 75,000 likes, 11 million views on my quote tweet of it alone. Okay? So it then took off to crazy lengths. I saw that video and people said, what's your thoughts on it? I don't then think, oh, I gotta watch and think about what Rampage would think about me saying this. Not for 1 second does that ever cross my mind. Guru, check out this video. What do you think? That's an attempted murderer. I post it, yeah? I say, that's a dumb animal with no impulse control, bro. He has no impulse control. He's a dumb animal. He saw an unconscious man on the ground. He went to follow up 20-odd shots to trying to kill him. He's not like the rest of us. I would never do that. 99% of humans would never do that. Raja Jackson would. Put him in a jail.
Kevin Lee also weighed in, calling Raja Jackson's actions completely inexcusable and stressing that as an adult, he had to face the consequences. While Lee acknowledged reports that Stuart Smith had struck Raja with a bottle earlier, he argued that retaliating hours later, while Smith was still performing in character, made the attack.
That's what I would tell him. I mean, you a grown man, bro. You can't condone that type of behavior, bro. You gotta go lay down for a little bit. We'll get you a good lawyer. You ain't gonna be in there forever, but you gotta go lay down. I get it. He hit you in the head with a bottle beforehand. I get it. He shouldn't have did that. I don't condone that either. But to wait hours until the man was working, which we all understand, he playing a character and he was in character and he working, and then you sneak him, because that's what you did. I mean, you snuck him. He wasn't expecting that, and you bro, they say dude flatlined and was unconscious for 6 minutes afterwards.